Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insights. Now today's video, I will like to change a little bit of direction from all the news updating back to Global Talent Independent, because I did receive some inquiry in regards to talking about a sector of infrastructure and tourism. Interestingly, when the Immigration of Australia updates the criteria for GTI visa, they added infrastructure and tourism. Well, it was exciting, but it doesn't really meant what it really meant. So today I would like to take a little bit of depth and some explanation and see how the government of Australia wants those experts, those global talents in the sector of infrastructure to actually be in Australia. So maybe you or your friend might be in those sector, and with that precisions, let's check it out. First of all, let's have a look at the visa page. So let's review this. You may be able to find this web page through Google, basically typing Home Affairs space GTI, and you should be able to land yourself here. And the most commonly used page here is the eligibility. Now I've done a lot of video described and in detail of all the criteria. So you have to be in the sector, you have to have those talent, okay, and how you can prove those talents, and also you need to show money, how much income you are actually making in order to meet that criteria. But today we are specifically going to the detail of infrastructure and tourism sector. It's a very rare ask, and indeed, in fact, I have not seen any person in these areas to come across and apply for GTI, but I do know there are people in there. So look, the sector includes but not limited to the following specialization: travel and tourism infrastructure. Now what are those? Okay, let's think about travel, tourism, infrastructure. So tourism infrastructure should be those theme parks. So are you the expert of building Disneyland, or have you been involved into those large project building all these entertainment stations and things like that? So that probably will meet the requirement. And the travel infrastructure, well, that's pretty easy. What are these? Well, for example, airports. Okay, there are a lot of engineering and experts, civil engineering experts, or architectures actually very specialized in those areas as well. And what about the stadiums? What about the domes? Those big ones that people go in there to watch sports events, that will also count in there. Okay, and talking about travel, there's also, what about subways? They are a lot of top experts. They are very good at drilling, underground drilling, okay, and those require very high technicality and knowledge to do it, and also experience, and I presume those people will get really high pay as well. Now for water infrastructure, so talking about this, I think this is more connected to energy, so building dam, okay, and nowadays they are building wind turbines for energy, so that's involving water, because that's going to offshore, well, not for offshore in the meaning for visa, but offshore physically, in the sea. So those wind turbines are built, well, they got huge infrastructures underneath the ocean and sea, and then going up. You see what I mean? You've probably seen those ones. Energy infrastructures, so interesting, very large solar farms, okay. And regional development. Now regional development is very broad, but it's more about town, city, urban planning. Has to be very experienced. Those city build-ups, a lot of planning and preparation required. Let's go into the actual Global Australia Now make sure you know this one. This website is actually created by the Immigration of Australia specifically to attract all the global talent. So infrastructure. Now there's not much of animation. Remember last time when we checked out web design, gaming, and movie, there's so much animation, but here it's pretty no, not dead, but very good. Is static image, meaning that you know infrastructure of a city. So let's have a read. It says Australia has track record of developing complex large-scale infrastructure project. We're centering our own mega project. So mega project will be fairly large stuff of building, for example, building casinos in Queensland, Brisbane. They are building what they call Queen's Wharf and the new casinos, bridges. And those are all the infrastructures that we are talking about. So are you those kind of experts? Probably this will meet your requirement. So they're investing a lot of money, 50.8 billion. Anyway, not too sure how that will be put it in. And the population is set to almost 40 million by 2055. Now that's the reason why the government of Australia is seeking for those experts to come to Australia. So there's going to be, look at here, there's some stuff maybe interest you. Intelligent transport, okay? Advanced communication, so building those 5G stuff that Huawei used to do it, but probably Australia want someone else from different places to build those ones. Future cities, critical water infrastructure, tourism and warehousing supply chains, building a large warehousing for industrial usage, those kind of developments, strong project pipelines. So these are basically giving you examples and how you probably can relate. Perhaps you or your friends or your family, whoever, actually have done this before. So there's some pictures showing the projects, building roads, train. That's right, high speed. How about high speed rail? Are you expert in high speed rail? Drilling. Again, in the agricultural area, city, farm, building roads, city. Oh, and then light rail. Look at this. That's a very good example. So are you an expert in light rail? So there's some fact information there, basically saying that Australia is growing. They need experts to help them to grow, and perhaps to build more of these mega projects with future cities, cutting-edge technology training, R&D forefront, incentive for grant and support, and case study. Now, the only thing that I always go to this recent arrivals, because that provides a lot of example of how the success GTI applicants are. So there are a lot of people here. You can probably come in here and check it out as well. And there's very good functionality here, is you can actually search by industry. Now, interestingly, when I click finding into infrastructure, apply, there's no one. No one has actually gone through the infrastructure. What about tourism? Let's have a look. Apply. There's no one as well. Unfortunately, this hasn't been a success applicant yet from that sector there. However, it doesn't mean that, it probably will mean that there's less knowledge and information being passing around. A lot of people, they probably in this sector, they don't know they actually meet the GTI requirement, because traditionally most of GTI applicants are all the IT, high-tech, fintech, and all these type of people. No one actually taking detailed understanding how they probably will fit into infrastructure and tourism. Anyhow, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.